Well, thank you very much, Elliot. And I want to thank Benzinga for hosting us in this phenomenal global small cap conference. And I wanted to thank any of the listeners and viewers out there for taking some time to hear about the thermal energy story. We're excited to be sharing it. Before I get started, our lawyers need to reminded me I have to make you aware of the caution regarding forward-looking statements. So with that behind me, I now wanted to turn it over and talk a little bit about the energy efficiency market, because believe it or not, a lot of people don't understand it and realize the enormous potential of energy efficiency. So first of all, I would say that energy efficiency is the fastest, cheapest, easiest, and most significant way to reduce carbon emission. More often than not, when we hear people talking about climate change or reducing carbon emissions or becoming more sustainable, more often than not, they're talking about renewables. But energy efficiency can have a much greater potential impact than renewables. As you can see on this chart here, this multicolored chart, beautiful chart that I have up, that's done by the Lawrence Livermore Laboratory in the US, and it tracks energy use in the US economy, which wouldn't be too dissimilar from most industrialized economies. And on the left-hand side, all the different colors are the sources of energy. And then it maps that energy throughout the economy to be used for electricity generation, residential, commercial, industrial, transportation. And it shows what the sources of energy are for each of those different sectors and how much is lost. So over on the right-hand side, the gray area that's called rejected energy, that's energy that's lost due to inefficiencies somewhere in the system. And so you can see in the US economy, that represents almost 70% of the energy that's used is lost due to inefficiencies. And this fact resulted in the International Energy Agency calling energy efficiency the world's first fuel. That was their word. They called it the world's first fuel. And there's two things that they want you to focus on when they say that. Number one, the opportunity represented by energy efficiency is greater than any other single fuel source combined. I mean, if energy efficiency is only 50%, then it's greater than every other source of energy. And the second thing they want you to know is that as an energy user, if you're looking for more energy, the first place you should go is energy efficiency. And so energy efficiency, it reduces emissions, it saves those people that are implementing energy efficiency, our customers, it saves them money, makes them more profitable, increases their competitive advantage. And there isn't a government in the world that doesn't want to make their industry, their domestic industry, more competitively advantaged. And the area that we in particular are focused on is the industrial side, because that we do, I'll tell you a little bit more about what we do, but those are large projects. Those are large mega energy users. So anybody, if there's a site that's using more than $1 million on their fuel bill, that's a target for us. So that's our target, industrial. That industrial energy efficiency market globally represents about a $250 billion product just for thermal energy products alone. So to tell you a little bit more about Thermal Energy International, as I mentioned before, we engineer, design, and deliver innovative turnkey thermal energy efficiency projects. And again, I emphasize the thermal because often when people think of energy efficiency, they think, you're changing a light bulb. That's electricity. So there's two energy forms in any sort of facility. There's electrical and usually thermal, where you're burning something, usually natural gas. We're focused on that fuel. So our products and our projects improve our customers' profitability and sustainability by reducing their fuel use, usually natural gas, and cutting their carbon emissions. To tell you a little bit about the company, we've got a suite of proprietary products, a number of proprietary products with an average payback of 2 to 5 years. And all of our products are basically designed to last essentially almost forever. They will last as long as the facility is still operating. So when you're installing a project with a 2 to 5 year payback that will last forever, it represents a phenomenal return on investment for our customers implementing these projects. We've done hundreds of projects worldwide around the globe. We have an extensive list of leading multinational customers across a wide range of industry sectors. These are names like Danone, PepsiCo, Cargill, InBev, Roche Pharmaceutical, GlaxoSmithKline, Eastman Chemical. These are the who's who that are our customers. And we've just scratched the surface with any of these customers. They have hundreds of sites around the world. We've established corporate and engineering offices in Canada, the United States, and the UK to target our key markets. The key markets we're going after, clearly our product, I like to say our product is best in class with worldwide application, which is true. But right now we're focused on North America and Europe. We have, salespeople, feet on the ground in 7 countries throughout North America and Europe. We don't go through in our key markets. We don't go through agents or distributors for the most part. We deal direct with the customer, sell direct to the customer. And we have 10 years of successful operations and solid revenue and profitability growth. The next couple slides just give you a highlight. They summarize some of the larger projects that we have presented or we have announced over the last sort of 12 to 18 months. And there's 3 things on these next 2 slides that I want to highlight. Number 1, it's the diversity of sector. So you can see on this first slide, it's food products, canning, hospital group, tissue manufacturer, dairy, and brewing. The payback, anywhere from 1.6 years to 4 years, and the location, Europe and North America, with a slightly increasing, heavier weighting towards Europe. Europe, we have a strong base of operations in North America, but our focus on growing the business right now is Europe, and that's quite frankly because energy prices in Europe are sort of 3 to 4 times what they are in North America, so the paybacks generally are a little bit better. The next slide shows the same thing: snack food manufacturer, tire manufacturing, animal nutrition, chemical producers, food ingredients. And again, with strong paybacks of less than 4 years and a diversity of sector and a diversity of geography. So I talked a little bit of our growth story. We have been very successful in growing the revenue and profitability of the company over the last 5 years. And so we've been implementing a strategy for the last several years that really has 3 key parts to it. First of all, we have a who's who list of our customers. I sometimes joke with our sales team, we don't need any new customers. We just need to sell more to our existing customers. So part of our strategy is to leverage off those existing high quality customers that we already have, sell them more products, sell more sites of that customer. Then we still want to increase our product portfolio so we can add complementary products that we can sell to that proprietary customer base that we have established direct relationships with. And we want to grow our team and our global presence. So we started out basically just sort of Northeastern North America years ago and the UK. And since then, we've expanded throughout North America. We have salespeople all across North America, direct salespeople, our own employees, and we're growing in Europe. So now we have the UK, Poland, Italy, and Germany. And so those 3 things, leveraging our customer base, increasing our product portfolio, and growing the team and global presence and our global distribution capabilities, we want to do that both organically and through accretive acquisitions. We want to do it that way. We have been doing it that way. And that's what has resulted in the phenomenal results that we've got over the last 5 years. So let's look at those results. You can see in this slide going from 2015 right up to the last 12 months ending in our 3rd quarter of February 2020. And there's a reason I ended there because I wanted to illustrate something. But you see for that period, our 5-year compound annual growth rate on revenue was about 30%. And on profitability, both EBITDA and net income, 50 to 60%. Now, the reason I stopped there is the reason you can probably guess. In March of 2020, there was a global pandemic declared. And what did that result in? Well, that resulted in basically society not really knowing how to deal with a global pandemic, not knowing what was causing COVID and how to control it. And so essentially everybody just shut down. The whole economy shut down, and the economic numbers show it. GDP shrank by 50% in that quarter till we figured things out. And so we are a best-in-class company that prides ourselves in providing best-in-class product and service. That requires visiting customer sites. That requires installing projects on customer sites. That requires a lot of travel. So there was no doubt, COVID was going to have a temporary impact on our business when we can't get to our customer sites. But what I wanted to highlight here is that with that track record of results, if you look at what the valuation is based on where we were back in February, just prior to COVID, because COVID is sort of a, God forbid, a once in a century type event. What was the valuation metric? So if you take the last 12 months, the 3rd quarter ending in February, and the current share price of around 9 cents, which is what it closed at on Friday, that's a revenue multiple of only 0.5. That's an EBITDA multiple of less than 5 times, and it's an earnings multiple of less than 9 times. But then, as I mentioned, the COVID-19 global pandemic was declared in March, which was just after our 3rd quarter. So for the 4th quarter, our sales did slip, and because we were shut out of customer sites. And for part of the 1st quarter, it slipped as well. And so you can see there, but even with the impact of COVID for the last 6 months, our growth rate is still pretty impressive. More than 20% revenue growth over 5 years compounded annually, and still 30% profitability growth. But the encouraging thing is what we've been seeing since June. So for sure, March, April, and May, it was dead. There was nothing going on. I mean, we were still shipping product, but we couldn't get to site, and the economy was dead. But since June, we've seen, a strong rebound in activity. So our customers have figured out, and as society has figured out how to deal with COVID and how to continue to operate with COVID. And so since June, we've seen a strong rebound in orders. And so orders for the first 6 months of this fiscal year, which is June 1st to November 30th, were up 67% compared to last year. So, our customers understand now they have to have mitigation measures in place, social distancing, mask, hand washing. They have all the provisions. We understand that. So as a society and an economy, we're understanding how to deal with this situation. And we're seeing a strong rebound in activity, partly because of pent-up demand, but partly because of the Build Back Better, green recovery that you keep hearing about. There literally isn't, with the recent US election, there now is not a government, in major industrialized government in the world, that isn't talking about a green recovery or a Build Back Better, and energy efficiency plays directly into that. So just as a summary, I may probably need a little bit of extra time, but just as a summary, we operate in a large, fast-growing global market with very strong fundamentals. And I would say the fundamentals are stronger now than they were back in January and February of last year, when we had the phenomenal growth in profitability and revenue. We've got a growing portfolio of proprietary products, proven proprietary products, so we know they work. We're not testing things. These are all products that have been proven and installed on site for years. We've got an extensive list of leading multinational companies in a variety of geographies and a variety of sectors. We've got an established competitive presence in our key markets, again, North America and Europe. That's where we're focusing. So we believe we're poised to continue our solid track record of growth, and that's evidenced by the fact that our year-to-date order intake, so the orders we've been receiving from our customers, is up about 67% compared to the prior year. And so in terms of metrics, our recent price was 9 cents. That's where it closed on Friday. We trade on the TSXV, the Toronto Venture Exchange. 52-week range is sort of 5 cents to 15 cents. Market cap, $14 million. Enterprise value, 13. Enterprise is less than market cap because we have a strong cash balance. We do have some long-term debt that we use to finance some very attractive long-term debt that we used to finance an acquisition about 2 years ago. But we have a net cash position. We got about almost around $4 million in cash on the balance sheet. So with strong working capital. So we're in a very strong position. And, even with those sort of numbers, the pre-COVID valuation multiples are compelling, but even the post-COVID valuation multiples are compelling.